Welcome to another Flutter tutorial. In today's episode, let's learn how to work with Textfield Widgets in Flutter. So now that we have created our app and we also created our dashboard page, we are able now to display different items inside of this grid when the user selects the different categories. So for this episode, let's focus our attention in our search page. The idea is having a text field right here. So when the user search for an item, we can display the cars using a list view widget. So for that, first of all, let's learn how to work with text field widget. So text field widget allows user to input text in our app, and then we can get the value and do some coding with it or do something with it. So first of all, let's create the layout for our search page. So come right here. Let's open this search underscore page widget. And here you can see we have a card widget with a text search page, and we are centering using the center widget. So let's first delete everything. Let's return right here a column widget. And then let's have a children property. And inside of this children property, we can call our layout section builder. So we can build this layout for this page right here. So inside of it, we want to display the label. So the value right here will be true. And then the name for our section name will be search for cars. And here we have to create a widget that will display right here as a child. So for that, let's open this widgets folder right here, create a new file, and call this search underscore widget dot dart. So for this widget, let's make it a stateful widget. The idea is when you search for something, I want to display the text for now. So let's change the name right here to be search widget. Save everything. Now let's copy the name of your class, and now let's call it right here. So make sure you import this widget. So now we have to wrap this layout builder with the expanded widget so we can be able to display it right here. So save everything. As you can see, we have now that label for our page, search for cars, and now we have a placeholder. So we can close this search page right here. And now let's work inside of this search widget. So the first thing I want to do is return right here a column widget. And then for the children, inside of it, let's learn how to work with a text field widget. So like I said, text field allows the user to input text into your app, and you can use it to submit a form, send a message, search for items, and more. So first of all, let's learn how to work with this default class right here. So save everything. As you can see, we get a border. So when you click on it, you can input a text inside of your text field widget. But you can also add more properties to it by using input decoration. This will allow you to add labels, icons, text hints, error message, customize the color, the border, and so more. So let's see how to work with it. So that's called the decoration property. And if you hover over it, you will see this will take the input decoration class. So call this input decoration class right here. By default, this will add this class, but if you want to override or you don't want to add any decoration, you can pass the value as null, and this will remove all the borders and the colors for it. So let's change it back. So now if you want to add a label, you can call this label property right here, and this will take a widget. So let's say a text widget right here, and for the text, let's say label. Save it, and this will add a label. If you want to add an icon, you can also use an icon widget. So call the icon property and call the icon widget, and let's say icons class dot search icon. Save it, and this will add this icon before the text field. If you want to use with the text field, you can use it right here, this prefix icon. Save it, and you can see right here And also if you want to add at the bottom, you can use a suffix icon this way. So now let's constrain this text field using a container widget. So wrap it with a container. We'll add a margin, and this will take the edgely set dot symmetric class and then the property horizontal, and the value will be 16 pixel. So now we can constrain our text field widget. Give it a comma right here, and you can also change the border. By default, this border will be the underline input border, but you have right here the outline input border and the underline input border. So let's use this outline input border. Save everything, and you can see this will add a border all around it. If you want to remove this border, you can come right here, select the option or the property border side, and then you can use border side dot none, and this will remove the border for your input text field. So another property besides of these ones, you can also use to add a hint text. So you have right here hint text, and this will take a string. Let's add a text using search for cars. Save it, and you see right here you can also apply styles. So go over it and then play around with this property so you can see what kind of properties you can use. So now let's see how we can get the value from the input text field. So for that, we have two callback methods. We have right here the onChanged callback method, and this will give you the text that the user is inserting. So right here, first of all, let's create a new property inside of our state class. So let's create a late. This will be a string type, and let's call this a search text. This will be initially equal to a string like this one, an empty string. Save everything. So now right here, you can call the set state directly, and then let's use the search text, and this will be equal to the value that we are getting right here for this callback. Add a semicolon. So now, after this container widget, let's call a sizebox widget, and let's use the height property to add some gap between the text and search field. So let's say 20 pixel for gap, give it a comma, and now we can call a text widget, and then do a string interpolation, use it, inputted text, this will be equal to, and let's do a string interpolation using the search text. So save everything. So now when we enter any text right here, you can see the value will be changed as we are typing this text field widget. So if you don't want to have this behavior, instead of using this callback onChanged, you can call the onSubmitted. So now when you insert the value right here, to click the keyboard enter to see the text displayed right here. So let's say search it, text, enter, and you see the widget, the value will be displayed right here. So now if you want to obscure this text right here, you also have this property obscure, and this is a boolean. You can pass the value as a false or true actually, save it, and this will hide the text. If you pass the false, which is the default value, the text will be displayed. You can use it to hide and show a password, for example. So now what I like to do is come right here inside of this container widget. I call the decoration property, call the box decoration, and let's add a background color. So you can call the colors dot, let's say gray, blue gray with the shade of 10. You can change the value, let's say 200. And you can also add a border right here. So call the border radius dot circular. Let's say the value will be 9.0. And if you want to add a border, you can also call the border dot all, and let's say for the width this will be 0.3 for the value. So as you can see, this for me it's more dynamic to customize it this way. I use the input decoration to add the label, icons, and so on, and then use the container widget to apply more styles to it. So now let's learn how to work with this property right here, the controller property. So for this property, we have to create a new text editing controller. So come right here after this string right here, late text editing controller, and let's say search controller. Now we have to do an overwrite of the init state to initialize our search controller. So come right here, say search controller. This will be equal to a text editing controller. And if you want to display a default value for your search box, you can come right here, search controller dot text. This will be equal, let's say for the text, DEVDSNDUO. So add a semicolon right here. And after that, you also have to override the dispose method. So when we're no longer working with Textfield, we have to dispose of this controller. So copy this search controller and use dot and call the dispose method to delete this resource. So with all that in place, now you can come right here, call your search controller. So save everything. Let's initialize our app again. So get started. Let's go to search. And you can see the default value will be displayed right here for our DEVDSNDUO. Right here you can see the label is not looking so good, so you can come right here. Inside of our decoration, you can call the padding widget, and let's say agility set all, and let's give it a value of 4 pixels. So save everything. So now let's learn how we can programmatically get a value that the user will input right here. So let's first of all comment this callback method. And now let's add a new widget right here. So add another size box widget, and now let's call the field button right here in the onPress. Let's have an anonymous function right here. And then for the child, this will be a text widget, and let's say the text will be search. So add a comma right here. So now inside of it, we can call this set state method. So let's call our search text. This will be equal to, now we have to call the search controller dot text to get the value of this text field. So with all this in place, let's save everything. So now let's change the text right here to be test. Click on the search and you see right here, this will be adding as text. So let's add a new value. Let's say new value. Click on search and you can see this is how we can use it, search controller, to programmatically get the value for our input text field. So this way you can get the value and do some validations for your search or for your input right here. So now you can also come right here for your search controller, and you can add, if you don't want to use a button, you can add an event listener right here, and you provide a function that will get the value when the user start typing right here for your text info field. So for this video, we don't need this method right here. So now let's save everything. So this is it for this video. I just want to show you how you can work with Textfield Widget to get values for your user and to display this value back to the user. If you have any question, leave a comment. I'll reply to you as soon as possible. And if you find this video useful, give a like and also subscribe to get notification when new videos are coming out. This is it. See you on the next one.